And we're back, guys. So, this section, as you can probably read up there somewhere, we are going to be, well, I say we, you haven't watched it, have you?
No.
So, only film to come out really recently is Ted, new Seth MacFarlane film.
Yeah.
And I have to say, coming into this, I am not Seth MacFarlane's biggest fan. I'm really not. The man is... I mean, my opinion of Seth MacFarlane has always been he is very, very good at voice acting. Like, I can't...
Yeah.
I can't, like, say a bad thing about his voice acting because he's brilliant at it. But when it comes to his writing, he is very occasionally brilliant and funny. Yeah. But he's never been good at, like, making a narrative.
Okay.
Like, with Family Guy, I mean, the example I use to describe this to people is, like, how many actual episodes of Family Guy can you remember the whole story to? Because there's not many, but how many funny moments can you remember in Family Guy? Quite a lot, and they're usually those little flashback things, which I still find annoying as a plot device, but still. So, this is my problem with Seth MacFarlane, is that sometimes he's really, really good, but he's not very good at crafting stories. So coming into this, I was like, well, I'm going to get a few laughs out of this, because I know that he's going to put attention into this, and that he's good. And I know that, like, Ted is going to be a pretty believable character because he's quite good at crafting characters and voicing them and making them good. But what I was worried about is the story. And honestly, he surprised me because it works really quite well.
That's cool.
And I mean, I'll try like to keep spoilers down to a minimum because with a comedy film like this, most of your enjoyment is going to come from the surprise and the humour. So if you don't want to be spoiled too much, go watch this film, it's funny. There's only a few problems, like it's a bit slow in the beginning and a bit slow at the end, but the middle's very good. Like, the middle's brilliant.
That's cool.
So, if you don't want to be spoiled about anything, just in case I do, that's my review. It's 3.5 stars, basically. But I'll get to that in a bit later. So yeah, back to my problem with pacing. As I just said there, the beginning is quite slow. But it's just like, because, again, this is one of my problems with Seth, is he's not so great at crafting a story, so it's a bit lazy in the beginning. Yeah. It's all narrated, the beginning. It's very obviously, quickly, you're right, okay, quick, here's the character, here's Ted, here's how this happened, let's skip forward 30 years. And it's just like, I didn't like it too much, but it's executed quite well.
Yeah.
It's lazy writing, but there's enough humour to just keep you distracted and keep you ticking over so that you don't mind it too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a bit messy. But once he gets into that middle, once he has established the status quo, and like established, right, this is his job, this is Ted, this is their relationship, this is his girlfriend, there's his relationship. Mm-hmm. Once he's established that and you get into the meat of the thing, it starts to really pick up and really be funny. I mean, like, there's this one like great like sequence which is like basically an extended party sequence with probably some of the most random references I've ever seen.
Really?
But they are beautifully executed. Like, this is like I mean, for one, this is like one of the best use of Queen I've ever seen.
Really?
In a film. Yeah, literally. I mean, this is like, I would never have expected this to happen, but my god, is this middle scene masterful. I mean,
well, still, I've seen a bit from the trailer. One of my funny bits I loved a bit was when they sing the Thunder song. Is that really funny during the film?
That's one of those few moments. That's like one of those moments at the beginning, like keeps you laughing at the beginning whilst they're establishing the status quo.
Okay.
Just like little bits like that are just like they tide you over until you get to the meat. They're the appetizer, if you will.
Yeah, of course.
And you know, it's just like that the whole middle segment is just brilliant stuff. Like, it's really well paced, and this is obviously coming from like him just being great at writing sitcoms. Because like with a sitcom, you never really have a beginning and an end. You just have a lot of middle.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you can see this in
Seth
Ted.
MacFarlane's been writing stuff for years. He wrote episodes for like Johnny Bravo. The thing he did some like. He did quite a lot for like Hanna-Barbera. I think he did some stuff for like Dexter Laboratory, that sort of thing. But then he did Family Guy, which then became huge, and then American Dad, like he was showing now Ted.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, like his problem is like establishing characters. and wrapping up story. Those are his problem. But when it comes to just like writing a middle of a story, he just does so well at it, and it's really, really funny. And it's just like there's a few jokes I didn't really get, but I think that's more just like my preferences, because like a lot of Seth MacFarlane's humor doesn't really hit on me. So,
No.
but you know, I was in a big crowd, and like they were eating it up. They were really liking it. So it's like I think that's probably more me than them.
I think as well though, because a lot of his jokes are quite sort of aimed for American audiences. Like some of the jokes, like on the episodes of Family Guy, I never knew who it was where this guy was flying away, and then in one of the like season 3 episodes, and then other jokes, I'm like, what's going on? Because you have to be more so like that's why same way as Americans might not get some of Viking humor, because it's with basically doing jokes on the politics and the things at the time.
Oh yeah, there's still a lot of that American humor. Like some of it just went straight over my head, but like there are some jokes that you know we'll get easily. In fact, there's a lot of it. Like very little was lost in translation.
That's cool.
But I just, and then we get to the end, and the ending again. It felt a little contrived. It felt a little like he was just trying to get elements into place for to make a vague finale. And then the whole end sequence feels a bit too Hollywood and schmaltzy, and it's just... Again, you know, you have those moments of great humour to tide you over. But again, I mean, my problem more with it is the structure of the story, rather than the actual story itself. It could have been written a bit better, it could have been a bit less, like, just contrived and a bit... The ending's very Hollywood, like, really, really typical Hollywood happy ending stuff. And it's just like, but you know, as I said, like the humor is really good, and you know, this film is not going to change your life. There's no like deep meaning or anything, but it's good for just going out to the cinema, having a laugh, forgetting your troubles for an hour and a half, and just having fun.
So, what's Ted the Teddy Bear like as a character? Is he good? Is like a good character? Is he funny?
He's a bit cliche at times, but like, he's not like. You're not like constantly going throughout the film. It's like, oh well, this is just Pete Griffin, or this is just Brian, or this is just American Dad. No, Ted feels like a contained character. That's
cool.
Even though like they do make, no, I won't ruin that for you. That's I was about to spoil a joke then, but I won't ruin that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, he still holds up as a character himself. But I mean, I'd kind of actually be interested to see a sequel to this film, as mad as that sounds.
Okay.
But as long as they just like explored the character a bit more, because like they never really explored like anything deeper than I'd have like hoped. Because you'd think that like if a teddy bear had magically come to life, there would be some major crap going on in the science world for one. Because scientists' minds would be freaking blown.
Yes.
It's like, wait, so how can he move if he has no musculature structure? And how can he talk? And how can he drink? And how is he doing marijuana? And how is that affecting him? What is going on? And it's just like, you know...
Yeah.
Well, at the time, you're not thinking about any of that stuff. But just like my mind being way over analytical and slightly scientific, I'm just like... How is not every scientist in the world clamouring to get their hands on this magical teddy bear?
That sort of thing, though. I think everybody doesn't really want people. It's like a film. People are like,
exactly.
To get rid of the realms of reality out of it sometimes.
And they kind of like skirt all over that in the beginning, which is like a very quick quip, and it's just like it's funny, but it's just like basically Seth basically says to the audience, yeah, you know all this stuff you're trying to think about, just forget about it. Just enjoy the fact that there's a teddy, magical teddy. Just focus on the magical teddy. Forget about the scientific ramifications.
Yeah.
Or the fact that, you know, this is blatantly impossible and holy crap, magic exists. What? You know, that's personal. I'd be thinking.
Fair enough.
But
it's the same way when you watch Harry Potter. Oh my god, magic exists.
Yeah, but it speaks to the strength of the film that kind of thing only popped into my head after the fact.
Yeah,
whilst I was watching the film, I wasn't really thinking about any of that because he does very well with it.
Because that's the thing, you kind of have to, when you watch the film, you kind of have to just forget everything, because if you do think about it too much, you won't enjoy the film as much.
You do just have to suspend your disbelief, and this film does it marvellously. And yeah, so all in all, I'd say it's a solid 3.5. I'm not quite going as far as I'd say it's a 4-star film, because, you know, it doesn't really have any emotional weight.
Yeah.
It's funny, and it's good, and there's actually some surprisingly good cinematography and editing in it. I was quite shocked by the calibre of it at times. But yeah, and actually good effects. Like Ted is believable. I mean, like there's
Hmm.
no point in the film where you really think where you don't believe that this is actually a teddy bear and a magical teddy bear walking through.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I mean, it's all very well done. And, you know, if it just had a bit more emotional oomph to it, I might, you know, this would be a 4 or 5 star film maybe.
That's cool.
But as it is, and it's a bit Hollywood and a bit contrived, it's 3.5. I'd still probably pick Batman over this, but they're very, very different beasts.
Yes, of
I mean,
course.
Batman is just full of emotional weight, and just like much slower and much more, you know, things unravel slowly. So if you're just looking for a bit of quick fun at the cinema, go watch Ted. If you want an experience at the cinema and want to just lose yourself
Yes.
for 3 hours and get into the
Awesome
emotion of the
work for
scenes,
3 hours though.
then go see Batman. But they're both good. Preferably, see them both.
Yeah.
They're very different, so you might want to go depending on your mood. But yeah, all in all, I would recommend Ted. And that is a sentence I was not expecting going into that film. So yeah, I think that leaves it at that part. Sorry you couldn't talk much about that.
Yeah,
I
that's
got to
alright.
see that, you useless thing.
I wanted to see it, but I'm waiting for it.
You should see it, and I've tried to keep the spoilers to a minimum. Actually, you can probably just like put a nice little annotation saying Ben doesn't really spoil much, so you can probably just watch it. Ignore me, I'm an idiot. On that note, see you in a bit, guys.